Breaking right now, GB News hosts caught in a racism war as the police are called in. This is one of the most astonishing stories of the day, because if you're a fan of GB News, you will know that Darren Grimes, who has now been elected to the Reform UK board, and Albie Amankona, the head of Conservatives Against Racism, were actually the launch presenters together of this show on GB News, which has become a real success, called The Saturday Five. Now, at some point, there seems to have been a major falling out, because since leaving the broadcaster, things have become incredibly intense. And it exploded into the public domain, with the cops called after this post from Darren Grimes, who wrote, "My brother in Scarborough for a bank holiday weekend away. I had to ask him if he was on a dinghy to Dover, but then I realised there are women and children on board." And Darren posted that with this short video. If you're enjoying what we're doing here on Outspoken, please consider joining our thriving community over on Substack, www.outspoken.live. You can sign up completely for free, but Substack is so important to me. It is a free speech platform. It protects me from big tech cancellation. Plus, you get to communicate directly with me. Head on over www.outspoken.live, enter your email address, and sign up today. But that prompted Albie Amankona to go public, seemingly accusing Darren Grimes of racism, which resulted in a police inquiry. Albie Amankona wrote, "One of Reform UK's leading lights is posting a vid filmed by his brother of a black British family, including the kids, enjoying a day out and comparing them to illegals. I've always said I don't believe Nigel Farage is racist, but I believe some of his supporters are." Cues seemingly official interest, with Darren Grimes going on the attack, writing, "The police just called to say they've received allegations that I have been inciting racial hatred. I did no such thing, and the police themselves have said so. Shame on our disgusting media and Labour politicians for wasting police time in this way. They are the problem, not me." But of course, one of the problems that Reform UK has, and I accused them of this at the time, is that they have been responsible for the biggest waste of police time this year, the attempt to get Rupert Lowe locked up in prison. So the Restore Britain leader saw all of this going on and responded to Darren saying, "We wouldn't possibly want anyone in politics wasting police time, now would we?" But Dominic Frisby, I do have quite an issue with this, but I'm interested to know, because look, I'm friends with both Darren Grimes and Albie Amankona. I do not believe that Darren Grimes is a racist for a single second. And I would say to Albie Amankona, I think it's completely inappropriate to just throw around these terms and then almost lead to a pile-on. But can we just look at Darren's post on X specifically? Could you see anything racist about that? I mean, it's sort of a joke, isn't it?
It all depends. And this is one of the big, I think I know Darren and he's not racist. Okay. And I've also met Albie. I was on GB News with him a couple of times, and he's a nice guy. He's a sort of,
Yes, he is.
it's very funny. And I think it's just a bit lazy. And so there's probably a bit of acrimony maybe there. There must be a bit of acrimony, but it's just a lazy slur, and I'm tired of it. And I think one of the things that needs to happen is we need to redefine or define clearly what being racist actually is. And this is something Lawrence Fox tried to do with his court cases, because, a joke or a sort of, a lazy remark or a not particularly funny remark, but an attempted joke or something by down is not persecuting somebody on the grounds of their color, which is what I think racism is, the actual persecution. And if it boils down to it, and I say this as someone I've got two mixed race kids, I think everybody, white, black, brown, is prejudiced. We are all prejudiced, some more than others. And we all make judgments about other people based on their appearance. Okay. And so that's their sex, their age, their race. We all make these judgments. And it's perfectly natural to do that. And the sooner we can accept the fact that it is natural to do that, and by doing that, that doesn't necessarily make you racist, rather than I want this group of people persecuted because these kind of people's, I do not like their race. That is racist. Okay. And there is a big difference. And so, you know, if an old lady is a white old lady who's not used to black people, for example, gets a little bit nervous when a 6'4" black guy is walking down the street, you know, that doesn't make her racist. That just makes her nervous.
Or even
Do you see what I
Ryland
mean?
Clark.
So we need to redefine what it is.
Well, of course, but even Ryland Clark on ITV's This Morning for simply suggesting that it's completely ludicrous that there are these illegal immigrants and we don't know where they've come from and they're staying in hotels that we're paying for, playing on iPads that we've given them. He's been described as racist for making that point.
How is that racist? This is the problem, because it's a terrible thing to be a genuine racist, to want somebody persecuted because of their race. That is a bad thing. And nobody wants that. And everyone knows once you have the label of racist attached to your name and to your appearance and to your reputation, it is a very difficult thing to recover from. And that is why people use it. It's a magic spell word. It's the equivalent of having somebody excommunicated in the Middle Ages. And that is why everyone's desperate to avoid it. And the whole thing has just got so stupid. And the sooner this conversation is we have clarity and agreement on what a racist actually is. And by the way, it's so damaging smearing somebody for racist. You know, it can take years to recover from that slur, even if it was misplaced. When that slur is alleged to somebody and it ruins somebody's career, and then it turns out they weren't that thing, why is the person who issued the slur in the first place not held to account in
100%.
some way?
100%. But I think in a way, Dominic, that's why we almost need to not give a damn. All of us collectively. I mean, I don't give a damn now. It's like, call me far right, call me racist. Everyone knows that's nonsense. Everyone knows my history. Everyone knows I'm a completely reasonable person who agrees with pretty much the majority of this country. But I think we're seeing this more and more, because I wanted to play you an actual clip from GB News, Dominic. And this is Adam Brooks, who's a great guy, right? He's doing great stuff in the independent media world. Actually, I was the first person who put him on TV. I convinced him to go on TV. I think he is really one of the voices of the people. And Bill Rammell, who claims to be, you know, a sort of Labour working class champion, is there on air accusing him of being far right. Watch this. But first, as I've entered my 40s, aging has become ever present in my life. My body doesn't back up the way it used to, and I've found that it's far easier to get injured when trying to work out, far harder to recover too. But I believe one of the best aging breakthroughs of the last decade is Qualia Senolytic. And I'm going to explain why. Senolytics are a science field revolutionizing human aging. A big culprit behind that middle-aged feeling can be so-called zombie cells that linger in your body after their useful function, wasting your energy and resources. Now, those zombie cells can lead to less energy, slower workout recovery, joint discomfort, and basically feeling old. Now, Qualia Senolytic is a groundbreaking, clinically tested supplement with 9 vegan plant-derived compounds that help your body naturally eliminate these zombie cells, helping you feel years younger in just months. But here's what I absolutely love about this product. You take it just 2 days a month, helping your body naturally eliminate zombie cells to age better at the cellular level. Now, since taking Qualia Senolytic, I've felt like I've turned back the clock. I have higher energy, less soreness after exercise, and a big boost in productivity too. That all equals feeling so much better. So experience the science of feeling younger by going to qualialife.com/Dan for up to 50% off your purchase. Use the code DAN, that's DAN, for an additional 15%. So that's QUALIA, life, patreon.com/Dan for an extra 15% off your purchase. Your older self will thank you. And by the way, thanks to Qualia for sponsoring this episode. Now, let's get back to it.
Being simplistic and wanting our borders secure makes me far right.
I want
wanting
our borders
unknown
secure.
men to go home and not be around our women and children is far right, is it, Bill?
The way that you advocate for it, yes.
Passionately. Like the people watching this show now, I want safety for our women and children. That does not make me far right.
That you represent the groundswell of the popular public.
Well, hang on.
What an
Bill.
arrogant thing to say. You represent about a third of the electorate in the body of reform supporters.
Right, so
that's where you stand.
If you say that, that's about 10 million people. Probably.
Yeah, and
so we're all far right.
I'm talking about you, Adam, and the views that you express.
I'm still,
are
Bill.
far
I'm still, with respect, I'm still waiting for one particular example, something he said which you think is far right. You said overall his stance on immigration is far right, but that's not good enough.
He plays fast and loose with statistics around immigration, which
no
are utterly misleading.
I've schooled you completely on 3 or 4 of these shows.
The viewers about arrogance. You're the personification of arrogance.
Right. Okay. So, do you believe you represent more people in the UK than me? With your views?
Do you know?
Yes or no?
Yes, I think I do.
Hilarious.
Right. Hilarious.
Labour aren't doing very well in the polls.
Is it? So, add up the political support in opinion polls for the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats, and the Greens, and it's over half the population.
You are so naive and so in your bubble that you think, honestly...
No, you're in your bubble, mate.
Oh, my God.
Okay, Chloe, what's your thoughts?
Politics is not for you anymore. You're a dinosaur. You're a dinosaur in a political world, Bill. A dinosaur.
Represents just less than
absolute dinosaur. Get in the real world like me and Chloe.
I live in the real world.
All I'm going to say is there used to be a time when it was completely normal and mainstream to think a country should have a border.
Exactly. And I love my flag.
That doesn't make you far right. And that's mostly sums up what Adam's views is that he's usually talking about the fact that we should have a border in this country and we should know who's coming in.
Dominic Frisby, your view on that claim from Bill Rammell?
Well, he was doing exactly what we was talking about, and so much of what he said was unsubstantiated, and he was just accusing him of being far right for articulating opinions that he didn't like. And we were talking about the racism thing before in my song, We're All Far Right Now. The second verse of that song is We're All Racist Now. And it's just silly, the whole thing. And I have to say, I thought Adam absolutely annihilated him in that discussion. And the standard technique when you're being out-argued is just to talk over, to insult, to change the framing of the conversation and so on. And, you know, I think Adam's right when he called that guy a dinosaur.
Yeah, we are living in mad times, aren't we? Because I've got to show you this story, Dominic, which has just been broken by Guido Fawkes. I actually can't believe it, but this is true. This is not an April Fool's Day. The Essex County Council is offering support to staff unsettled by the St. George's or Union Jack flag. So let's get to this story, okay? Essex County Council offering support to its staff, encouraging them to reach out if the St. George's or Union flags that have been put up in recent days upset them. Alternatively, they could resign and hide indoors with the blinds shut. The council's Children and Families Senior Leadership Team sent an email to staff yesterday saying it was, quote, aware of the increasing visibility of St. George's and Union Jack flags displayed on road signs, bridges and trees in parts of Essex. While these symbols may hold different meanings for different people, we recognise that for many, particularly our colleagues of colour, they can evoke feelings of discomfort and be associated with anti-immigration rhetoric. The council encourages staff unsettled by or affected by what you're seeing to reach out, and offers for them to speak with their line manager, service manager, global majority leads, Antonia, assistant director or director. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, Dominic Frisby, seriously, we've gone mad. We've gone completely mad.
We have gone absolutely bananas. And I love Guido Fawkes, and I love he was at my book launch actually last night. And I love the stories that he exposes, and he just goes on and on, or that he and his team do go on and exposing these things. And it's just obvious. Like, imagine if they were counselling for English people at the sight of a Palestinian flag. This is how silly the whole thing has got.
Totally.
And
although sometimes I feel I need it, or a trans flag.
Yeah. I actually feel upset. I call it the pedo flag. But anyway, I get upset every time I see
saw
it.
one of them on my street this week, Dominic. But, I wanted to tear it down. I certainly didn't need counselling.
But it's ludicrous. But is your taxes are funding this?
Yes.
And that's what makes me despair. Like, if we were all taxed hardly anything and we could all keep our own money, and somebody wants to go off doing that, funding that kind of stupidity with their own money, well, fine, it's your money, you do that. But when it's being done with public money, it just makes you go mad, particularly when we're all, so hard up and times are so difficult. If we were able to actually keep more of what we earn and spend it ourselves on what we see fit, this stuff would not have the oxygen to breathe.
Do you understand why this raising the colours movement has become so important for patriots?
Mm-hmm. Because, once upon a time, if you didn't like your leaders, you could rise up and revolt. But we can't do that now because the citizen is not armed and the state is. And so all we have is our voice. And this is our national flag. And I can't believe that putting up our national flag is considered offensive. That's how insane the whole thing has got. And it articulates what everyone is thinking and the anger everyone feels. But also the fact that, for example, by putting a St. George's flag in a pothole gets the pothole fixed. You've seen that meme doing the rounds, I'm sure.
Oh my God, I know.
It just shows you it shows you the insanity of everything. And so not only is it a way of articulating what people are feeling, it exposes the ludicrous double standards and hypocrisy that we're living through.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.